What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Keith Thurman and Terrence Crawford. Of course, you guys know by now, Terrence Crawford is labeled that he ducked Keith Thurman. Well, I have some new information that kind of clears this all up, okay? And this is from Bob Arum. Bob Arum states that Thurman's people called about the Crawford fight, but the money demands are crazy. Bob Arum wants Terrence Crawford to fight Manny Pacquiao next more than any other welterweight. The high-profile opponent Pacquiao barely beat in his last fight interest Crawford's promoter as well. Arum considers Crawford-Keith Thurman a terrific fight, but he isn't optimistic it can be made based on his recent conversation with one of Thurman's representatives. Thurman's people got in touch with me, but they're out to lunch, Arum told BoxingScene.com. They have such crazy expectations that just don't exist anymore. Their money demands are crazy. They said that they were free agents, which I'm sure they are, but again, who's going to pay what they're looking for? Sounds familiar. Arum didn't divulge the dollar amount the representatives questioned from Keith Thurman, nor would he identify who contacted him on Thurman's behalf. BoxingScene.com has otherwise learned that Thurman likely will headline a Fox broadcast on December 26th, thought his opponent hasn't been chosen. The 32-year-old Crawford, 36-0, with 27 knockouts, is expected to return to the ring November 14th, likely will televise Crawford's upcoming defense of the WBO welterweight title, but Arum is still seeking an opponent for the Omaha native. A Pacquiao-Crawford fight would require an international investors to offer a large site fee to bring the bout to a venue outside the United States where the fans could watch it in person. Arum also continues to discuss potential Crawford-Kell Brook with the Brooks handlers. Crawford-Brook could take place in a bubble environment without fans in the U.S. or the United Kingdom, according to Arum. And he said whatever he said about Brook, I don't really care. Anyway, let me counterpunch based on what we've discussed, based on this. Time and time again, people, I keep telling you guys the last 2 weeks, a lot of these fights haven't took place. And a lot of people blamed Al Heyman. That was the narrative, and it wasn't the fact that it was just Al Heyman. It was this guy, Bob Arum. Bob Arum has admitted that, yes, Thurman's people has reached out to him. So Thurman was right. Thurman wasn't blowing smoke. He really wanted that smoke, okay? He wasn't blowing it. He wanted it. But then looking at what we have, Bob Arum is always, what is the same old song for Bob Arum these days? Who's gonna come up with the money? So his thing is, it's always about money instead of a solid dollar amount. Where I'm pretty sure, like, dude, you're the A side. Terrence Crawford's the A side in a Keith Thurman fight. Keith Thurman has nothing to bring to the table. Now, we can talk about the Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. Look, that would be a great fight. I could see the potential because he is the WBA super. Plus Terrence Crawford is the WBO. And if he beats Manny Pacquiao, then he can have a super showdown with Spence as time permits. I get that. I understand that. That's if Spence don't get beat by Garcia. That's a whole nother story. But it is what it is. That's the layout. So I understand the potential. But what I don't understand is if you don't have an opponent for Terrence Crawford, why are you bullshitting? Why are you being stingy? Why are you doing the same old song and dance you've been doing for the last, like he did with the Teofimo? You're going to have to take a reduced cut. And why couldn't you fork over the difference knowing what type of pandemic we in and you 88 years of old age? I know it's business and all, but I mean, sometimes business takes a certain sacrifice to stay afloat. Am I right or am I wrong? And in this case with Bob Arum, he's saying that, yeah, they reached out, they wanted too much money, but why couldn't you reveal how much money that they wanted and they asked for? Since you've already talked to them, and you know what? I think the type of money that they asked for is not off the rocker. I think Bob Arum is using the corona thing as an excuse to not pay fighters what they're worth. Okay? Now you think about a fighter, on every average day fighter that we've lost over 4 to 5 people last year alone. In the last half of the year. So people can die in the ring, but then you want to be stingy for doing absolutely nothing, for signing some papers. Yeah, you've been around fighters, but you haven't taken a punch anywhere from anybody. And now they've already got a tough enough job. So then what you do, you make the fight difficult and blame it on, well, they need the live gate. No, they don't need the live gate. You just said that Terrence Crawford could fight Kell Brook in a bubble. Well, he can fight Keith Thurman in a fucking bubble. You know, Tyson Fury can fight Deontay Wilder if it came down to it in a bubble. Stop being stingy. Let's just see these guys fight. If they want to fight, if they agree to fight in the bubble, why are we wasting time and pushing back dates and all that shit to try to get extra loot? The loot ain't safe for where y'all want to get it from. Okay? Now the Manny Pacquiao Terrence Crawford fight, okay, if they can fight overseas, whatever. But we have to get in the new norm of processed thinking. Okay? We have to understand that, look, this may be the new norm for a while. Don't mean we need to force it just because some promoters and some broadcasters are used to a certain amount of revenue that they're not getting. Boo fucking who? If these guys want to fight, they're putting their life on the line. You guys are not. Point blank and period. So if Bob Arum is saying that they've asked for too much money, it ain't Terrence Crawford ducking. It's Bob Arum not even trying to fork over the amount of money that it takes to get the fight done. That's what this is about. It's about money with Bob Arum, and he pretends he doesn't have any. He always pretends he doesn't have any. That's what rich people do. They pretend like they don't have shit to keep everything. And that's what I'm seeing in this situation. And it's frustrating because you got a guy like Keith Thurman, he got some fire in his chest all of a sudden after 4 or 5 years, right? I like it, but he can't even act on it. You better not duck me, son. That guy is back. Now he wants all the smoke from a guy that hardly ever can get fights. And Terrence Crawford, if I'm Terrence Crawford, I'm like, yo, Bob, look, listen. How much did they ask for? We can meet in the middle. Let's renegotiate. Don't just say, hey, well, they asked for too much money. They're out the lunch. Well, if you're saying that, that means that's your final offer. Well, they asked for whatever. We don't want to deal with them. That's in. How about renegotiation? How about that? Can we get that? Can we do that, Bob? Can you reach back out with a counter offer? See, that's the type of shit you do when you really want to make fights for your fighter. Counterpunch. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Bob Arum's statements. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.